What's going on, everyone? I'm just your average, everyday, atypical Canadian nerd, here to react to your average, everyday, typical American man, here to react to and learn about Canadian inventions and their inventors. Now, I might not be very learned on this subject, but as with all my videos, I would just like to add the Canadian perspective, throw a little bit of context into these videos, answer any questions he might pose that I am able to answer, and, hey, I don't know, use my brain for something other than just my personal benefit. So hopefully you get to learn something, as will I, as will he, and, well, I guess that's it. Now, I might have incorrect information. For example, when I was growing up, my family had a cottage on Lake Cashebog, which is in Ontario, Canada. And, well, I was told that a few cottages down, there was a rich man who was famous for having invented Velcro, which is false. I don't know what he actually invented, and I know that Velcro, or adhesive hook and loop, was invented by a Swiss man. So, you know, as with all things on the internet, take this all with a grain of salt. And with that said, let's get this picture out of the way and get this video underway.
What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about the top 15 richest people in Canada. Not surprisingly, the richest people in the United States are pretty well known to Americans. They're almost like many little celebrities in and of themselves, and
especially the politicians. And here in Canada, the wealthy people that we're aware of are also politicians because we just don't care. Like, yeah, you can be wealthy for various reasons, but how do you define wealth? You know, it could be financial means. It could be the people that you love. And with my card game, Magic the Gathering, I find that the real magic is the friends we make along the way. And, you know, the people that love us, the people that we love. Wealth can be measured in so many different ways. And the way I display my wealth is through luxury cardboard rectangles, such as, I don't know, the Gilded Drake. Oh yes, I've got a Gilded Drake. And that said, let's continue.
it just so happens that a lot of the richest people in America are some of the richest people on the planet. So it seems like everyone in the world knows a lot of the wealthiest people in America. But when I think about it, I don't think of anybody. I don't know anybody as far as the richest individuals in Canada. Whereas I would be willing to bet that Canadians know lots of the richest people in Canada, because those people are probably individuals who have built a really impressive, incredible company, or started some kind of product or service, or have done something to accomplish their wealth, you know?
Oh, I mean, we don't really remember those people. We don't know those people. They fly under the radar, and for good reason, you know? If you win a lottery, everyone you know will be coming at you for money. And so if you are successful and earn lots of money, you probably want to keep that to yourself. No, the people we remember are historical figures, people who made a large impact on the nation and our history and politics in general. Oh, wow, I'm terrible at pausing on good moments, aren't I?
Usually some kind of interesting story behind that, becoming super wealthy, usually a decent story. Anyway, I thought it'd be pretty interesting for me to, for the first time, learn about the richest people in Canada. Maybe it's some of the biggest business people. I don't know. I don't know who these people are, but I'm ready to find out. So, let's find out.
Hey, that was a misleading thumbnail. This was invented in Canada too. If we're in fact talking about wealth, financial wealth. Interesting. But hey, I guess a lot of people these days on YouTube must rely on clickbaity titles and thumbnails just to get attention. Something I don't really care about, which is why all my thumbnails look pretty much the same.
15 richest people in Canada. Number 15, Garrett Camp. Net worth, $4 billion. Uber chairman Garrett Camp co-founded the ride-hailing startup with Travis Kalanick in 2009.
Okay.
Yeah, as usual, a Canadian moving to America and finding success with an American company. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah. I think there's another Uber CEO who was on Shark Tank, if you watch Shark Tank on TV, who's I knew of. I didn't know that there was a Canadian who was also part owner of Uber.
We didn't either.
Obviously a enormous popular company in the United States and everywhere else. So, yeah, this is actually kind of fascinating.
In 2019, I took a trip to parts of the United States, and one thing I learned was that Uber was not the best option. Lyft had the better rates, and I'm sure they all had great people. Some of the people drive for Lyft and Uber. I just don't care for Uber, plain and simple, other than the fact that, I have German blood, and it's a German word meaning over. Yeah.
Phone app lets users request a ride, and a driver contractor is routed to pick them up with Uber getting a cut of the fare. Camp owns about 4% of Uber, which listed its shares on the New York Stock Exchange on May 10, 2019. Before Uber, Garrett Camp founded web discovery tool StumbleUpon, which he sold to eBay in 2007.
Sway! I think I actually used to use StumbleUpon.
Yeah, Stumble was popular back, 2013. I know a lot of people were using it. They referred me to several different pages, and I just never saw the appeal. It started making me feel old and out of touch. No, it's the children. The children are out of touch.
A fun little web app thing to find random websites to entertain you. That's funny.
For $75 million. Number 14, Peter Gilgan. Net worth, $4.2 billion. Peter Gilgan has built houses for some 90,000 homeowners since founding Mattamy Homes in 1978.
Okay, Mattamy Homes does not have a good reputation anymore. They built a lot of homes in the Ottawa region back when I was living there, and the corners that were cut were awful. Like, make an A-frame and then just don't connect the frame at the top. There was a giant gap at the top of the roof. So what did they do? They just shoved some wedges up in there to fill the gap. It was horrible. There was a lot of issues, like windows that weren't properly sealed, walls that weren't properly insulated, leaking basements. But hey, that's just one small slice of Mattamy Homes and my experience.
Gilgan.
Mattamy Homes. Are Canadians familiar with Mattamy Homes?
Apparently, yes. Basically, a construction company specializing in family homes and disappointment.
It's a house development business, something like that. I could see where you could become super rich doing that.
Especially when you cut corners.
Grew up as one of 7 children in a middle-class family, worked as an accountant before going into building. Inspired by the new urbanism movement, he set out to construct suburban dwellings that broke from the bland and impersonal developments. Mattamy began designing and building planned communities from the ground up in 1986. Gilgan remains CEO of the $3 billion business in revenues.
Okay, that's kind of cool. If he was really trying to make houses a little more interesting, break the mold.
And that company was pretty good at doing that. They would take a plot of land that was slated for development but had nothing going on, and they would turn it into a thriving neighborhood where people would enjoy living there for a time.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool business.
13, Anthony Von Mandel. Net worth, $4.4 billion. Anthony Von Mandel created the ready-to-drink alcoholic beverages White Claw Hard Seltzer, and Mike's Hard Lemonade through his Mark Anthony brands.
Yeah, Mike's Hard Lemonade, an alcoholic lemonade mixed with vodka, I believe, also known as a spritzer, and it was very popular in the 90s and the noughties, like late 90s, early noughties. Still popular, I suppose, but most people have wised up to drinking sugary alcoholic beverages. The consequences are not pleasant, which is why now I drink coffee, tea, water, whiskey, wine. That's it.
That's funny. That is funny. This has all been stuff I actually am vaguely familiar with somehow. He owns White Claw and Mike's Hard Seltzer? Those are huge in the United States, by the way. Oh, that is funny, becoming rich, a billionaire from Mike's Hard Lemonade. Okay.
Yeah, the hard lemonade was very popular when I started drinking. Oh, those were some days.
No, I respect it. Okay.
Von Mandel told Forbes his U.S. business is estimated to deliver close to $4 billion in revenue in 2020. He began his career in the Canadian wine business as an importer in the 1970s at age 22. He currently owns 5 wineries in Canada, including Mission Hill Winery in British Columbia's Okanagan Valley.
Okanagan. It's not Okanagan, it's Okanagan.
Oh, he's more of a wine guy in Canada. Okay, a wine guy. Is there going to be someone on this list who's like a billionaire maple syrup owner? What's
Possibly.
the most popular brand of maple syrup in Canada? It's probably good stuff. Huh.
I don't know if there is a particular brand that is extremely popular. There's nothing that comes to mind. When I get maple syrup, all I'm concerned about is the size of the container so that it'll fit properly in my fridge, and the fact that it's pure and Canadian.
I don't know. I hope he's a billionaire.
Through his company Mark Anthony Wine and Spirits, Von Mandel is a leading figure of Canada's alcohol importing and distribution sector. Number 12, Alain Bouchard. Net worth, $4.5 billion.
Okay, proper pronunciation of his name is Alain Bouchard.
Alain Bouchard co-founded convenience store conglomerate Alimentation Couche-Tard with a single Quebec shop in 1980.
Which basically means it's like a 7-Eleven. So couche-tard, French. Couche means going to bed. Tard means late. So couche-tard basically means we're up late.
Couche-tard. Is that a convenience store?
Yes.
Are these common?
Yeah. Especially in Quebec, but yes, they are across Ontario at least, I know that. But far more frequently found in Quebec.
Did he expand? Couche-tard. Never heard of it.
As executive chairman, Bouchard still oversees the $59.1 billion in sales company, which boasts more than 14,000 owned or franchised stores worldwide. Bouchard, who
Worldwide? I had no idea.
grew the business rapidly by snatching up competitors, retired as president and CEO in September 2014. In
Okay.
2017, Couche-Tard acquired Texas-based CST Brands for $4.4 billion and Minnesota-based Holiday Station stores for $1.6 billion. Couche-Tard is reportedly pursuing the Australian fuel retailer Caltex Australia and is eyeing the cannabis industry.
Oh, the anglicized pronunciation of French words just gets me all the time. By the way, say couche-tard if you are English or Hanglish, mais honnêtement, c'est couche-tard parce que moi, je couche tard.
Oh, okay. He's expanding. The man is expanding. What is couche-tard? I'm sorry. C-O-U-C-H-E? Was that it? Tard?
Yeah.
I'm not... Oh, I spelled it actually correctly. What the heck? It's got a little owl. That's fun. Canadian multinational operator of convenience stores. 15,000 stores across Canada. The United States. Mexico, Ireland. These are in the U.S.?
I'm guessing they go by different names, something that Americans can actually pronounce.
Never seen one. Okay. Okay.
11. Emmanuel Saputo. Net worth $4.8 billion.
Saputo is a very well-recognized name. Dairy. Quebecois and Ontarian cheese. Oh, some of the best mozzarella I've ever had from Canada, important caveat there, is Saputo mozzarella. It's not the best mozzarella in the world. It's not even terribly moist, but it is delicious.
Emmanuel Lino Saputo chaired his family's eponymous dairy company from 1969 until his August 2017 retirement. His son, Lino Jr., who has served as president and CEO since 2004, succeeded him as chairman. The elder Saputo...
Dairy? A dairy company?
Yeah.
Is this the...
Milk, cheese, butter. Yes, it is a household name. Not his name, but the name Saputo. Yeah.
Is this the guy you see on all the cheese or something? Or at least his name on the brand name of the cheese and milk in Canada?
A company out of many. Dairy is very popular across Canada, and many different names, like Nielsen's, for example. But Saputo, quality.
Maybe the bagged milk? Don't get me started on the bagged milk. This is the...
You just don't understand bags, man.
Bagged milk guy. Does he do it? Is he the sicko in charge of that, bagging the milk? I tell you.
Saputo's father, Giuseppe, founded the business in 1954 with $500 and a bicycle for deliveries after immigrating to Canada from Sicily. Lino grew the company in the following decades, taking it public in 1997. Today its products are sold in more than 40 countries. The family also has a stake in Major League Soccer's Montreal Impact. Number 10, Mark Scheinberg. Net worth, $4.9 billion.
Don't recognize his name either. No.
Mark Scheinberg co-founded PokerStars with his father, Isai, and built it into the world's biggest online poker company before cashing out in 2014.
Wow, PokerStars. This actually hits a little close to home.
Yeah, back in the noughties, it was a lot of people who would obsessively play poker on that website. I had one friend who quit 3 jobs just so he could play poker all the time, and he made enough money that he eventually moved across the world, bought some land and a house, and continued playing poker with his new Thai wife. Yeah.
I am a poker fan, and man, me and all the actual poker, like super hardcore poker players, are still furious that online poker is banned in the United States. Banned legally.
True.
Gone forever. But I still know poker.
Yeah, gambling laws in the United States are quite restrictive. I don't know how it is in Canada anymore, but I know that state by state, it's highly regulated, and, well, you know, mobsters kind of wanted to keep their money theirs.
PokerStars, very popular website. A lot of poker professionals move to Canada, even to this day, I would think. Moved to Canada to be able to play online poker. So that's really cool. I think that's super cool that he made PokerStars.
Scheinberg, who owned 75% of Rational Group at the time, pocketed more than $3 billion from the sale. He helped launch PokerStars in 2001 at age 28, and benefited tremendously from the poker boom that soon swept the US and the rest of the world.
Oh, yeah. Texas Hold'em exploded back in the early noughties. Late noughties? It was in the noughties anyways. And yes, I say naughties, not as in the British term for zero, because it's better than saying 2000s all the time, you know, and it implies some naughtiness that might get some people going.
Scheinberg is investing some of the proceeds in Madrid, where he is helping restore 7 historic buildings for commercial and residential use. In 2018, Scheinberg bought a stake in the Ritz-Carlton Yacht Collection from majority owner, private equity firm Oaktree Capital. He also owns the One Hotel in Toronto, Canada, which is set to open its doors in late 2020.
Okay, just
The One Hotel. Nah, I haven't seen it, but Toronto's a big place, and I usually stick to my recommended driving route to get where I want to go.
uh, just casual billionaire stuff, buying homes and hotels in Madrid and Canada. Okay, just billionaire stuff.
Number 9. Chip Wilson. Net worth
Nope.
$5.6 billion.
Nope.
Dennis Chip Wilson, the founder and former CEO of Lululemon,
Huh.
opened Lululemon's first store in Vancouver in 2000.
Oh, that's a Canadian brand?
Apparently, although I'll be perfectly honest, I have never seen a Lululemon in person. Never. Not even once. No.
Lululemon. I'm no fashionista.
Me neither.
Look at me. Just look at me. No. I don't know about fashion. I don't know about Lululemon. It is big enough that I have heard the name. I know of its existence. Lululemon. So that's cool. And I didn't know it was Canadian. I had no idea.
He took
No, we didn't either. I mean, I'm sure some of us did, but for the most part, I had no idea.
the firm public in 2007, but resigned as chairman in 2013 and removed himself from the business completely in 2015. In 2013, Wilson blamed Lululemon's two-sheer pants on women's body types, causing an uproar among fans. Although Wilson has no management role in Lululemon, he remains its biggest individual shareholder. Wilson is currently involved in Hold It All, which has businesses in apparel, real estate, and private equity.
A monopoly firm.
His investments include stakes in Finnish sporting goods firm Amer Sports and Chinese sports apparel company Anta Sports. Number 8.
Okay.
Jim Pattison. Net worth, $5.6 billion. Jim Pattison oversees a sprawling group that operates 25 divisions including packaging, food and entertainment. Pattison's first business was a GM dealership he bought in 1961.
So this guy basically is kind of a boring, like a very, the type of billionaire who's just a billionaire because he owns a lot of huge, successful companies that I may not have heard of, like a packaging company. And
There's a lot of money in boxes. That's crazy. Everyone uses boxes all the time. I mean, count the number of times that you've needed a box in your life. And I'm not talking about that box. I'm talking about like the cardboard boxes. Please, just that's not the kind of channel I run here.
like important stuff, but not as exciting or glamorous as owning Lululemon or the dairy company or what have you.
Canadian billionaire also controls more than 40% of publicly traded forest products company Canfor. His entertainment division includes Guinness World Records, the Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Never mind. That's cool.
Ripley's is like a museum of oddities and amazing things. There happens to be one in Niagara Falls that is quite interesting. From information from around the world, inventions, just weird facts and things. Pretty cool.
I know Ripley's Believe It or Not and Guinness World Records. All right, at least he invests in cool stuff.
Chain and Great Wolf Lodge's Canadian franchise rights.
Great Wolf Lodge. There happens to be one in Niagara Falls as well. I don't know if there are other places in Canada. I haven't seen them. I've only seen the one in the Falls. It's cool. They've got like a water slide that goes through the foyer, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I don't know about this Wolf Lodge. Never heard of this. Is this a Canadian thing?
Yeah.
Look at these things. Very friendly, I guess.
It's marketed as a family hotel. Yeah.
Number 7. James Irving. Net worth, $6.2 billion. James Irving owns J.D. Irving, a conglomerate with more than 24 companies in frozen foods, retail, shipbuilding, transportation, and more. His timber and forestry operation, based in New Brunswick, has planted over 1 billion trees since 1957.
Cool.
Well, that's good. Helping the environment and whatnot. This is another billionaire who's a super billionaire because he owns 7 or 8 major companies.
And they're all related, right? I mean, consider the frozen food. how do you move that food around? You're going to need the trucks, the shipping, the refrigeration. Yeah. And working in forestry, it's really nice to hear that not only is he destroying forests, but also planting them, which I guess is better than just destroying them.
It's not just one.
His family's fortune dates back to the 19th century, when his grandfather left Scotland and launched a general store and lumber and farming companies. His father added to the empire with oil operations in the 1920s. Upon his 1992 death, the three brothers James, Arthur, and John split the assets. Irving Woodlands, a division of J.D. Irving, is the sixth largest landowner in the U.S. with 1.25 million acres of land.
Okay, so it's quite possible he inherited this company, which, no fault of his own that he inherited billions of dollars. Nothing he could do about it.
I like to think if I inherited billions of dollars, I would do something productive with it. Like planting trees. Why not?
I'm not jealous at all.
Number 6. Huang Chulong.
Another name I'm not familiar with, because we just don't care about rich people here in Canada.
Net worth, $6.4 billion. Huang Chulong chairs Galaxy Group, a privately held business based in the southern Chinese city of Shenzhen. Huang's business interests span hotels, shopping malls, office leasing, parking lot operation, and real estate development. Number 5.
Chinese business, but I suppose he is Canadian, dual citizenship. And maybe that's why we don't know who he is or what he does.
Toby.
Oh, okay. Kind of a boring one, but you can't argue if it makes you billions of dollars. Okay. Toby
Lutke.
Lutke.
Parking lot operation and real estate development. Number 5. Toby Lutke. Net worth, $8 billion. Tobias Lutke founded and runs Shopify, the Canadian e-commerce firm that helps companies set up and run online stores.
Yeah, it was the early noughties when Shopify started to become popular. I had a friend who worked for Shopify and continued working for Shopify for maybe a decade. He was very happy with his work there, so it must have been a very good company to work with.
Wow. He made Shopify.
Oh yes, Shopify is still a thing.
I know this company. Very successful online e-commerce company. You can basically make your own online store as an individual very easily by using Shopify to sell your whatever you want, your little potted plants or t-shirts or whatever you want. So I think Shopify is awesome as an idea for a company. I had no idea who the creator was, CEO, and I did not know this was a Canadian company.
Honestly, I didn't know it was even a company until my friend started advertising for them. And then I'm like, oh, you work for Shopify? Who are they? And, well, now it's a household name. Interesting.
This is one of the most successful companies on the planet. So that's awesome that it was founded in Canada by a Canadian.
He owns 6.7% of Shopify, which went public in 2015. Businesses that use Shopify technology for online sales include Kylie Cosmetics and shoe retailers Rothy's and Allbirds. Lutke grew up in Germany, where he learned to code by age 12 and left school at 16 to enter a computer programming apprenticeship. Shopify had over $1 billion in 2018 revenue. It has 1 million businesses as customers from 175 countries.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it helps a lot of businesses. Yeah, if you want to become rich, make a business that helps businesses. That's a way to do it.
Number 4, David Sheraton. Net worth, $8 billion.
I mean, the name sounds familiar, but I'm a sci-fi nerd, so it might be that I'm just thinking of Babylon 5.
Professor billionaire David Sheraton, who teaches at Stanford University, made his fortune thanks to an early investment in Google. Sheraton and Andreas von Bechtolsheim, who is also now a billionaire, each invested $100,000 in Google when it was just getting started. The pair co-founded 3 companies, Arista.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not more people like this. I'm sure there's a ton. But
early investors getting rich. it happens, and that's how a lot of people lose a lot of money too.
Not many on this list. Just, people who didn't make a company or inherit any money, but apparently they had $100,000 to spare, so they were doing pretty good. But just people who got a little lucky or made an intelligent investment, I'll give them some credit, who invested in something like that became a Google. That'll do it. That's cool. That's cool in its own way. Being a good investor is a different type of skill. So that's cool. Sounds like they've done more. And is he still he still teaches or is a professor to this day? That'd be really cool if he still does that.
Networks, Granite Systems, but he sold it to Cisco in 1996, and Kalia sold it to Sun Microsystems in 2004. Sheraton resigned from Arista's board in March 2014, and has been unloading his stock. He still owns nearly 10% through a trust for his children. Number 3, Galen Weston. Net worth, $8.4 billion. Galen Weston is chairman emeritus of George Weston, the Canadian food and retail giant founded by his grandfather in 1882. After successfully running grocery and retail stores in Ireland, his father handed him the reins to the struggling Loblaws supermarket chain in 1972.
Is Weston well known in...
Not really. I mean, the name is well known because it's a parent company of many companies. Loblaws, on the other hand, very well known. A major grocery retailer here in Canada that has a lot of subsidiaries and is famous for the No Name brand, which he learned about like a year later.
Canada? I'm not familiar with this retailer or grocery store chain, whatever it was. Never heard of it. This must be a Canadian thing.
He turned the company around by lopping off underperforming stores and redesigning the rest. His son, Galen Jr., now runs both George Weston Limited and Loblaws, which acquired Canadian drugstore chain Shoppers for about $12 billion in July 2013. Weston also owns a group of upscale retailers.
Just to be clear, when he says Shoppers, that's referring to our national popular drugstore chain called Shoppers Drug Mart, which is where you can buy a lot of... I mean, there's a pharmacy, there's makeup, there's hygiene products, there's... you can get a cane or like a brace. You can buy groceries. It's a pretty popular store, and we just call it Shoppers.
Canada's Holt Renfrew, Ireland's Brown Thomas, and UK department store Selfridges. Number 2, Joseph Tsai. Net worth, $12.6 billion. He is vice chairman and co-founder of Alibaba Group, and ranks as its second largest individual shareholder after chairman Jack Ma. In 2008...
That'll do it. Alibaba is outrageously big company.
Owned and run by the Chinese Communist Party.
Mostly in China, I believe. Although this shareholder appears to be Canadian, part owner. That's pretty cool.
He bought 49% of the Brooklyn Nets National Basketball Association team. The following year he purchased the remaining 51%. He holds 2 degrees from Yale University, an undergraduate degree in economics and East Asian studies, and a law degree. Taiwan-born Tsai carries a Canadian passport.
Taiwan. That's good. I like Taiwan. And I'm glad, because we don't like the Chinese Communist Party, and they are currently occupying West Taiwan.
Number 1,
he carries a Canadian passport. Does that make you technically Canadian? Is he here because of a technicality, or is his residence in Canada? I don't know if he can be number 2 on the list if he hasn't lived in Canada for some part of his life, you know.
I'm pretty sure you need to be a Canadian resident to have a Canadian passport, but I'm not a doctor. What do I know?
Anyway, I don't know, but we'll see. David Thompson, number 1.
David Thompson. Net worth, $39.3 billion.
Wow.
The richest man in Canada, David Thompson, and his family control a media and publishing empire founded by his grandfather, Roy Thompson. The family's biggest holding, more than 320 million shares of Thomson Reuters, where Thompson serves as chairman.
Owns a media company. I've heard of Reuters.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty common in the United States.
yeah.
Is this a big Canadian media outlet? I'm guessing.
Yeah, as far as we're concerned, meh.
And plus, he didn't actually create it himself. His father or grandfather did, which is okay. Family business.
Nepotism.
Uh, but kudos to whoever made this company. It's obviously doing pretty well.
In 2018, Thomson Reuters announced it was selling a controlling stake in Refinitiv, a financial data provider, to Blackstone for $17 billion. The family also holds a stake in telecom giant Bell Canada and own the Toronto-based Globe and Mail newspaper.
Okay.
Globe and Mail, not Globe and Mail. AI voices, right? Like, they just don't say things correctly. And Bell Canada is the biggest communications company here in Canada, has a long-standing history of phone lines and internet, TV, satellites. Yeah, my father used to work for Bell Canada as a data technician in Ottawa.
Okay. Oh, geez. Just ends just like that. Okay. Waste.
That's the AI of today, right? You just get a recording to start saying words and it just stops all of a sudden. You don't even need to,
To no time. That is it. This was by Top 10 Amrani. I gotta give that a like. That was a good list. Very to the point. Very informative.
Yeah.
Even with the sort of robotic narrator voice. It was okay. I didn't know Canada had so many billionaires. Me neither. Me neither.
They just fly under the radar, and we don't care. Most Canadians just want to live their life. We're not obsessed with wealth, unless it's our wealth, and then give me more, please.
Get me paid. Okay, not too many comments there that are at least relevant to what I'm looking for. Well, there you go. Top 15 richest people in Canada. Shockingly, I knew a lot of these companies. Maybe that.
Hey, I didn't recognize the names. I recognized a lot of companies, and I don't care any more now than I did at the beginning of this video.
That's not so shocking. Maybe when you become one of the most successful companies in Canada, you're bound to expand into the United States.
Yeah.
And that they did, because I.
That's a big market. Why not? I mean, that's just money on the table if you're not expanding to the United States. Just why Tim Hortons Donuts is now in the United States as well. Not all the states, but some of the states, because it's a big pie. We want a slice.
I knew some of these people, not really any of these people, but it was fun to learn about some of the rich, successful entrepreneurs and people in
Sure.
Canada, because all I ever hear about are American entrepreneurs and people, Bill Gates and, rich people in America.
Yeah.
Never talk about the ones in Canada. So I had fun. I had fun with this. Anyway,
That was all
if
right.
you had fun with this as
I
well,
did. Did
feel
you?
free to give it a like
Go ahead.
or leave a comment.
Thoughts
And if
below?
you're interested in more videos like this,
Or
me
like this one.
reacting to Canada,
me
Canadian culture,
reacting to him,
things, stuff
reacting to
having
us
to do
and
with Canada,
our world,
feel free to
then
subscribe
go ahead.
for more.
Subscribe.
And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time. What's going
Yes,
on?
and thank you very much for watching. From me to you, I'm glad you're here. If you're still here, then we get to move to our French word of the day, and today we've already kind of covered it. It's 2 words, couche, which means sleep, go to bed, and, well, really, go to bed or to lie down and go to bed. Words don't always translate evenly, so that's couche. Tard means late. That one is just a straight translation, late. So go to bed late, couche tard, stay up late, open 24 hours, and we'll just get that back down to almost a kissy face, I guess. There, yeah, okay. Well, that's it for me. Does it matter? No. How do you define wealth? I define wealth in free time family, friends, love, and magic cards. One of these days, I might just get the dual lands, the original dual lands. They're ridiculously expensive and getting more expensive every year. But hey, they're pretty powerful. But honestly, if you play Magic, you already know you don't need the dual lands. You just get a few fetches and a few shocks, get a few budget cards, and you can definitely build a good deck. But that's a whole other topic for some other time, perhaps. So let's just continue with the outro and say thanks again for watching, and keep being awesome. Bye. And stop the video.
Nerd Pope King.